The January 23rd, 2018 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Ansello? Here. Mr. Baroth? Here. Mrs. Conley? Chairman Delahanty?
Here.
Mrs. Draw? Here. Mr. Felder? Here. Mr. Hebert? Here. Ms. Cayley? Here. Mr. Marinetti? Here. Mr. Morelli? Here. Mr. Rocco? Here.
Okay. Will Legislator Cayley please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Are there any speakers signed up for public forum?
There is not.
Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to address the committee at this time? Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the minutes from the December 18th, 2017 meeting before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Mr. Clerk?
Referral 18-0015.
Moved by Legislator Hebert, second by Legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0016.
Moved by Legislator Draw, second by Legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For you to the administration. Is accreditation as it's meant?
Through the chair, I'm Gail Conklin, forensic biologist from the crime lab, filling in for John Clark. Accreditation is a requirement by New York State for the forensic laboratories, where an external agency comes into our laboratory and examines our protocols and our security and our case files and that sort of thing.
Thank you. And then through the chair, is this a yearly?
Through the chair, it is a cyclic, there's a 4-year cycle for the accreditation process. We are reaccredited every 4 years, and then every 2 years we are inspected, and every year we have to fill out certain paperwork, and we may or may not have inspections from the agency.
Thank you. And then through the chair, does the $837 less than last year's award, does it create a hardship?
Through the chair, we will we will take care of the shortage with making adjustments to the training budget, so the accreditation will be acceptable.
Thank you. And through the chair, lastly, is there any, has there been any year that you have overspent what's been granted to the crime lab for this process, or have on subsequent years have you had to scale it down because of not having enough funding?
Through the chair, I'm not aware of any shortages in the past, but if we have any shortages, we would make up for that with county funds for the training.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0018.
Moved by Legislator Rockow, second by Legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0019.
Moved by Legislator Ansello, second by Legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you. This was probably asked and answered in EPW, but I just wanted a clarification. This is for preliminary design services, and it was defined as being a facilities conditions assessment? Is that correct?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Thank you. Then this is semantics, obviously, but why are we not calling this facilities assessment? Through the chair.
Through the chair, it's customary, if you will, based on past referral writing, that we would refer to this as a preliminary design phase, which could also be followed by a design phase and then a construction administrative phase. So that's sort of the vernacular that we tend to use in referrals. We are going to assess the facilities, but the expectation is that it will result in follow-on design services for improvements. I guess comparatively in the past, we have hired consultants just for facility condition assessments, and we've stated as such, but in this case, the services really are expected to bridge, if you will, between preliminary design and ultimately construction services.
Thank you. And then once the assessment, how long should the assessment take? Approximately.
Through the chair, I'm just checking to see if they've offered an initial schedule for that, but barring one here, I would expect the assessment to take a couple of months for the various facilities in solid waste that we have in mind.
All right, thank you. And then once the assessment is done, there will be another RFP solicited for whatever plans are going to be implemented or designs designed? To the chair, sorry.
Through the chair, no. Once this legislative body authorizes a consulting contract, it's customary that we would follow on with any additional services by way of an amendatory agreement to that contract. Certainly, if those services result in biddable documents for construction, the award of the construction work would come back to this honorable body for authorization.
Thank you. And then through the chair, so $17,000 for a preliminary design, and then they would be given a contract for the design. What would the approximate cost of that design be? Since we are basically telling them they can design by this contract, what do we expect that cost to be?
Through the chair, it's really a function of the recommendations and the total scope of those recommendations and the value. I can tell you it's as a rule of thumb, engineering services, basic design services can average around 10 to 12% of the total project budget for any given project, to give you some frame of reference.
Thank you. It gives me a little bit of a frame of reference, but I don't know what the whole project is going to cost, so I don't know what that 10 to 12 or 15% might be through the chair. I guess we're approving a contract for 17 that will roll into another larger contract, and we've probably done this in the past, but I am trying to get an idea of what that extended cost is going to be, because it's essentially, we are approving it, are we not?
Through the chair, so we're authorizing a contract for engineering services in the initial amount of $17,000. It's contemplated that we could increase those services depending on the findings of those recommendations. Once we establish those recommendations, we would establish project budgets for the improvements, and the engineering design costs associated with those would be on the order of 10%, depending on the complexity of those projects. But you're right, we don't know what they're going to recommend, and we don't currently have authorization for the projects since we don't know what they're going to be. So at this point, again, as you mentioned, it's customary, you're authorizing a contract with the consultant, and then we have the authority to amend that as needed for additional services as we move forward.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The item carries.
Referral 18-0020, authorized.
Moved by legislator Connolly, second by legislator Marinetti. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate. Legislator Cayley.
Through the chair, we're basically looking at the same type of contract then with this for preliminary design services and then a walk in the park through the next contract that would be for the final design.
Through the chair.
I did that in the beginning, I really did. I did. But I'll say it again, through the chair.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
are you referring to referral 180020?
No,
No.
no. I've gotten myself confused through the chair. I'll
Okay.
just rescind that question, and if I have it again, I'll ask it in full ledger. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The item carries.
Referral 18-0021,
Moved by legislator Marinetti, second by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
referral 18-0023,
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration, can you just give me a little bit more information on green bond financing?
Mr. Chairman, briefly, green bonds are really no different than any other general obligation or public improvement bond. The connotation, green bonding, is really a marketing tool, and it's a way of segregating projects that meet third-party review and approval criteria, and certification criteria as being environmentally friendly or perhaps improving environmental conditions, reducing carbon footprints, et cetera, et cetera. And it's really a marketing tool, Mr. Chairman, designed to increase interest within the investment community to solicit more bids for Monroe County bonds.
Thank you. Then through the chair, the third-party certification is the certification that these bonds are in fact being used for green projects that have met some sort of criteria then, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have discussed how some projects in the past have LEED certification, LEED Gold, LEED Platinum. That's an example of a type of certification.
Thank you. And then through the chair, finally, it's up to the investor as to whether or not they know whether the project was concluded in the correct fashion. Is there any, let me back that out through the chair, is there any ramifications if a project that was bonded through green bonds does not quite meet the standard at the end?
Mr. Chairman, this type of designation would be documented within the county's official statement at the time the county goes to market. There is a process for obtaining independent certification that allows us to detail this in our official statement. And, Mr. Chairman, yes, there is a process, a documentation process by which we need to provide an audit trail that bond proceeds were used for this project and the project continues to meet whatever certification that third party has provided. At this time, Mr. Chairman, I really can't comment on the ramifications should a project ultimately not meet the requirements. They would be pretty significant, Mr. Chairman, something no issuer has yet run into because the documentation process is pretty clearly laid out for all involved.
Thank you, that's fine. Through the chair, actually what I was looking for is what you gave me in that answer about the guidelines that are there and that they are followed. And I appreciate your answer, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0025.
Moved by legislator Draw, second by legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0026.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barra.
Yeah. Through the chair of the administration, I had a question about the funding for this project. I know that funds are currently available in the Capital Fund 1813, but it's my understanding that that's a fund that's coming from Monroe County. Is that correct?
Through the chair, if I understand the question correctly, the money is coming through the New York State project grant.
So if it's coming through the New York State project grant through the chair, why is it that we have to use the funds from the Capital Fund 1813 as opposed to perhaps the funds available to the airport authority itself?
Through the chair, because the grant is a reimbursement grant. So we have to show that we've paid it. We have to show the invoices for what costs we've spent. Then we have to show we've paid it. Then we have to submit it to the governor's consultant. They review it. Then it goes to, I believe it's Office of Management and Budget, and they process it and return the payment. And it's a lengthy process, but we get our money back, and in the meantime, our contractors get paid on a timely basis.
Okay. So through the chair of the administration, I understand the answer to that, and that makes sense. My only follow-up question then is, why is it that it's Monroe County putting forth the funds in the short term that will we get paid back, as opposed to the airport authority itself? Through the chair.
Through the chair, Monroe County applied for the grant with the state of New York.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0027.
Moved by legislator Ansello, second by legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Okay.
Whoa.
Legislator Raw.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, I know through the prior discussion of the EPW committee that when this property is purchased, that the property will be raised. Is that correct, through the chair?
Through the chair, that decision has not been made yet, but it is assumed it will be raised.
Thank you. So through the chair of the administration, that's what's been done with past, well, not all past, but some properties have been purchased in the past, correct?
For the properties that have been purchased, through the chair, for the properties that have been purchased for the airspace program, yes, that is true.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, do we have any knowledge of what effect this process has been having on property values on those properties within the airway? Through the chair? Through the chair,
we have anecdotal evidence that people are looking forward to being able to have this backup plan if they want to sell their home in the future. The properties there are not high value properties, and they are in the flight path. So sometimes they may be hard to sell. This way they know that they will get fair market value for their properties. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but several people have come to us, come to the airport and said that they wanted to sell to the airport. And the realtors, the folks that are represented by realtors, our real property division reaches out to them, and they are eager to have us purchase for fair market value.
I just point, I actually grew up underneath a airway flight path, and it has its challenges, I would definitely attest to. But I would suggest that one of the unintended effects of this might be that fair market value that you're referring to is actually declining, not just because of being under the flight path, but because of these properties being raised as well. I would expect that to have an effect on that. I just want to point that out. I don't think we're doing anything wrong per se, but I think there's some consequences to our actions.
Through the chair, that might be true. However, I'm not positive it is, because several of the properties we've taken were abandoned and in very bad shape. When the airport takes them over, we maintain the properties and make sure that they're forever wild type properties, but their trees are trimmed. If needed be, the grass is trimmed and things of that nature. So it's actually giving green space to the area, to the houses around there. So we have not seen a huge drop in prices from when we began buying the properties. But again, I don't know for sure that it's affected the properties either positively or negatively.
Thank you. And through the chair, I realize that this is a goal or a direction that's mandated or at least encouraged by the federal government. I recognize that. Thank you.
Legislator Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, do you have any idea as to how many properties may be acquired in the next, foreseeable future?
Through the chair, we really don't know how many are available. It's more when something becomes available, it's sometimes our airport staff sees something become abandoned. We know there is one more that we're trying very hard to purchase. Unfortunately, the person who lived in there died. The estate is not solvent enough to get the house moved out, and the bank is not foreclosing. It's just sitting on it. Our real property division has made many overtures towards the bank, saying that we would purchase it, but so far they've been non-receptive. And we've even done a look at the estate, the gentleman's estate, and there don't appear to be any beneficiaries that have an interest in moving this forward. So I know there's one more. I'm sorry, that was a little lengthy.
No, that's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I guess my next question through the chair is in terms of the money to purchase all of these properties. I mean, there's obviously several others, and that comes out of the airport authority's budget, correct, and not the county's?
Through the chair, that is correct. And on top of that, depending on if we can do everything to satisfy the federal government, we oftentimes get reimbursed for this.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0028.
Moved by Legislator Connolly, second by Legislator Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Connolly.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration, I was wondering if you could tell me first of all, what are signal loops? I just don't know what they are.
Through the chair, that is the electronic magnetic systems in the pavement that detect the vehicle being there and send a signal to our controller to switch the light.
Thank you. And through the chair to the administration, is there a process involved where in the design process there's communication with emergency vehicles, ambulance, firefighters, just to determine how their routes may be affected by the construction work that might be done?
Through the chair, this project right now is for the design phase of that. Typically on all of our construction projects, at the start of construction, we host a pre-construction meeting whereby all of the emergency services, towns, and others involved are invited. They are provided a list of communications as well as our contact information at the county who would be managing it. And on top of that, then, when the project goes to construction and we're very close to it and the time frames are better established, we send out a letter to them indicating the time frame whereby it'll be under construction. These are simple mill and fill projects, so they're not taking the road out of service or one-way detours or anything, so it's a minor inconvenience, but an inconvenience nonetheless.
Thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0029.
Moved by legislator Marinetti, second by legislator Hebert. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, I have a question regarding the question of who owns and is responsible for the lighting poles, the lighting conduit system, the electrical lines, as well as the lights themselves. If I could have a breakdown of that.
Through the chair, I don't have the breakdown here in front of me. However, the maintenance, the ownership and maintenance of the light poles and the luminaires are Monroe County, even though they are on a state highway. It is a very odd arrangement throughout New York State. We are one of the few counties, if the only one, that owns and maintains the highway lighting. The conduit systems historically have been owned by RG&E. That has, the ownership of them has since reverted back to us, and as a result now we have taken ownership of them and are taking them over them in the event that we can better maintain them and provide increased reliability as a result of this project.
Thank you. And through the chair, as a follow-up question, when was it that the county took over ownership of the conduits from RG&E?
Through the chair, I do not have that date in front of me. I can get back to you through that.
Okay, that would be appreciated. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0030.
Moved by legislator Hebert, second by legislator Draw. Is there any questions? Okay. Legislator Kaling.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, is there a timeline on this project?
Through the chair, the project is anticipated to be notice of award pending approval through the legislature, and we will begin construction approximately 6 weeks after that and complete it by the end of this year, 2018.
Thank you. And that's it. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0031.
Moved by legislator Draw, second by legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, actually, I just want to say at the get-go, I think this is a very wonderful idea. I'm appreciating the fact we're recycling these panels, but I did have a question regarding the lifespan of these panels. I know they're 10 years old and in excellent condition, but what is the anticipated or expected lifespan of these panels? Through the chair.
Through the chair, these panels that we are getting from New York State Thruway Authority, as you noted, are 10 years old and in excellent condition. The lifespan of these particular panels will be exceed probably the 50-year life, excuse me, that we're, for our design life that we're trying to achieve on our bridge projects, and there should be no problem in them. These are built, probably overbuilt for the size of the bridges and the locations that we intend to install them.
Yes, I think this, again, it's a wonderful idea. But I have one last question. It was in a previous committee, it was stated that the savings that would be associated with this was $100,000 to $200,000 per bridge deck, but then it was noted that wasn't the same thing as a panel. So I guess my question is, how many panels go into a deck? Through the chair.
Through the chair, it's anticipated that we will use 3 panels per bridge. The middle panel provides the cross slope and the crown that we need, and then a panel on either side of that, so each bridge would be approximately 36 feet wide and 50 feet long. And of course, there's some approach work to tie them into the existing road.
Thank you. So through the chair of the administration, using my rough math here, I'm assuming that we would probably be saving in the neighborhood of $1 to $2 million through the chair, if all goes well.
through the chair, $1 to $2 million for all the projects put
Correct.
together,
All
not
together.
individually. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Legislator Kaley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got to say, I don't quite agree with my colleague up in the front row, but I do find this an interesting use of used property. And through the chair to the administration, did you, in the last committee, did you actually give the cost of the timber dunnage that's going to be used for storage? And on that same question, are they all piled in one pile, or are they piled in 3 piles, or how high is the pile?
Through the chair, the timber dunnage to store them is going to be in small costs, several $1,000s at the most to buy that. We intend to stack them 3 high. That's the preferred, at least based on our review of them. We had our bridge engineer and another engineer go down and look at them, and they are anticipated to be stacked 3 high.
Thank you. And then through the chair to the administration, I'm assuming that the design of the bridge that they were originally installed in varied so much that they didn't reuse them themselves if they have such a lifespan of 40 to 50 years. Is that correct?
Through the chair, yes, they built an entire new bridge alongside the old one, much wider, and I'm not familiar with the specifics of the new bridge. Now, these are coming from the Tappan Zee, and the new bridge is the Cuomo Bridge, and that I have not seen it, but I know that there's building right alongside it, and they couldn't take the panels from one and use them to the other because they're maintaining traffic on that bridge each and every day while they're building the new one.
I guess, thank you. They say tomato, we say tomato, but I did go across it. It's a very nice new bridge. But through the chair to the administration, you also mentioned if we didn't use them, we might sell them to other entities for other uses. What would you expect you would sell them for, cost-wise?
Through the chair, we would not necessarily charge for them. If we did not have a use for them and they were there for the disposal, we would make them available to the town. Since we didn't pay for them, we're not looking to make a profit on them.
Thank you, but then through the chair, respectfully, I would expect us to be able to recoup the cost of dunnage, storage, transportation, and what have you. Would that not be considered?
Through the chair, the delivery of these is coming at no cost. The only cost we have is the dunnage. The storage is on county property, so once they're there and set, there will be no further expense, and we don't intend to move them until they go on to a project. So other than the cost of the timber, that would be our only outlay of money that we could conceivably recover. However, we have a good relationship with our towns, and they do a lot of work for us, and that would be a small token of our appreciation for what they do.
Thank you. Respectfully, again, through the chair, they do need to be moved from wherever they're being stored to wherever they're being installed. Now, there's a cost involved in that.
Through the chair, we will recoup our cost, and the moving of them would be at their cost.
Thank you. And last question, through the chair. Have you identified any areas at this point that you might utilize these for?
Through the chair, our current project that we have in preliminary design, Park Road in Powder Mills Park, is one location that is looking very favorable for the first use of these. That's being progressed in preliminary design, and we hope to move that forward to construction in the upcoming years.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0032.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0033.
Moved by legislator Ansello, second by legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0034.
Moved by legislator Conway, second by legislative Marianetti. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0035.
Moved by legislative Marianetti, second by legislative Hebert. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0036.
Moved by legislator Hebert and seconded by legislative Draw. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0037.
Moved by legislator Draw, second by legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. Can you tell me what precipitated this installation? Is there not a signal at this position or fairly close to it?
Through the chair, there is an existing signal. This is the private leg of the signal, and the owners of the property on the private leg asked for the signal to be activated on their side.
Thank you. Let me envision this. Through the chair, as you're exiting their property, you will have a signal that you have to respond to?
Through the chair, that's correct.
Thank you. And is this, through the chair, is this something that basically can happen in the future and there is no cost to them? It's just coming up with a reason to activate the signal at their end, or in any case like this?
Through the chair, there's an ongoing maintenance cost that they will be responsible for.
Thank you. And then through the chair, can you tell me what that cost is?
Through the chair, it varies by location, but this one is probably in the $900 a year range.
Thank you. And then, for my clarification, through the chair, what would happen if this particular private concern moved from that property?
Through the chair, if there was a transfer of the property, the new owners would have to enter into a new agreement, or the signal would be turned off.
Thank you. And then just clarifying through the chair, so if they decided that they did not want to, or if this concern decided that they no longer wanted to continue, they could exit from this agreement and not have to pay the maintenance fee? And obviously the light would not be working.
Through the chair, I'll have to talk with the law department and get clarification on that and get back to you before the full ledge.
Thank you. Just a comment through the chair. It's what I'm getting at. I think you get, but what I'm looking at is when they enter into an agreement with the county that they're going to maintain a signal that they have asked to be activated. Is there a time frame that it has to at least have to be in for a certain amount of time before they can exit that agreement? That's basically what I'm looking for.
We will get you an answer.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0038.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0039.
Moved by legislator Ansello, second by legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Legislator Brough.
Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, is this a vacant land?
Through the chair, yes, it is.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, will the legislature receive the complete environmental review prior to the full legislature meeting?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0040.
Moved by legislator Connolly, second by legislative Marionetti. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, what is the nature of this property that's worth $190,000?
Through the chair, this is former Edo Steakhouse.
Oh, okay. And through the chair of the administration, will the legislature receive the complete environmental review prior to the full legislature meeting?
Through the chair, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0041.
Moved by legislative Marionetti, second by legislative Hebert. Is there any discussion? Legislator Cayley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you to the administration. I honestly have to say that up until this point, I'll make the comment that we've been told that our IT department would be able to handle whatever we needed to handle, as well as handle services offered to other entities. So can I get a bit more information as to what sets this need for additional IT services apart from what we already have in-house?
Through the chair, the reason for this increase in this particular one is we have a lot of parallel projects going on in 2018. Specifically, we're going to be doing a full refresh of all our desktops and laptops, and as such, in order to make sure we get that done in a timely manner, we can use some additional assistance. And this is, again, just temporary.
Thank you. And then through the chair, how many, when we're talking about help desk versus boots in the office, what are we talking about in terms of IT power, physical bodies that would be on-site, or is this off-site?
Through the chair, this is on-site. They're more technical folks. They can not just sit in the office and answer calls, but they can also go out to the actual department sites and assist with getting equipment installed and things of that nature.
All right, thank you. And then this is, I got a little bit, through the chair, a little bit confused when it said rolled out every year. So we are talking about just a 2018 contract with this company for help desk? Because you do specify every year.
Through the chair, at this point, we're anticipating the need to be for 2018, but as the year goes on and we assess what projects we have coming up, we'll have to look at that again to assess where we're at. The beauty of this is it's scalable, so we can go up or down as our need arises.
Thank you. And then through the chair, there's no anticipation of hiring anyone else in-house to handle this situation?
Through the chair, not at this time.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0042.
Moved by legislator Hebert, seconded by legislator Draw. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair of the administration, I know this is labeled as being essentially an upgrade, but is it more correct to state that this is actually partially an upgrade and also in large part an expansion of services through the chair?
Through the chair, inherent in an upgrade typically means there are also additional features that are generally available. Our primary goal, however, is simply to upgrade the system to the newest version, which also allows us to subsequently make changes in the future that will benefit the county.
Okay. Through the chair of the administration, the list of departments in this referral, they're the only ones who are going to see this upgrade?
Through the chair, no. We have some more power users or power departments, if you will. Those are the ones that are highlighted in there. But every county department by July will have some use of this system and therefore will be affected by it.
Mhm.
And potentially benefits could be for every county department.
Thank you. And through the chair of the administration, does this upgrade include like antiviral attack protection and things like that, through the chair?
Chair, not specifically. I can look into it a little bit further to see if there is some specific information on that. Usually our hosting provider provides a lot of that information through the infrastructure, but it is possible the software may have something like that. I can ask.
Okay, thank you. And through the chair of the administration, I'm correct to assume we've done plenty of business with Phoenix Business Consulting in prior years, correct, through the chair?
Through the chair, yes, we've used them before.
Yes, and then finally, through the chair, who else responded to the request for qualifications aside from Phoenix?
Through the chair, one moment. Let me pull up my information here. Through the chair, the Sage Group and Sierra Info Systems Incorporated were the other two respondents.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I'm assuming neither one of those two are local, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0043.
Moved by legislative Draw, seconded by legislator Rockow. Is there any discussion? Legislator Kaley.
I'm sorry, we're on 43, Mr. Chairman, am I correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And then through you to the administration, of the new radio towers that we'd be going in, if I read this correctly, what is the lifespan of these towers?
Through the chair, Deputy Public Safety Director Tim Kohlmeyer, Radio Project Manager. North of 40 years, but I don't have a definitive number. We can get you that.
No, thank you, that's good enough. And then just one more, through the chair, this adds to, when these are completed, we have 22, and these are the 22 towers that Monroe County owns. Or, let me rephrase it, it's probably easier. Through the chair, how many towers does Monroe County own? Wake up.
Through the chair, we have 22 towers that are either owned or through IMAs are co-located with cellular providers.
Thank you. And then at a later date, and it does not have to happen through the chair before the next meeting, could I get a clarification as to how many towers that we actually own? That's all. Thank you.
Through the chair, yes.
Is there any further discussion? Legislator Draw.
For you, Mr. Chairman, what is the expected timeline of this project?
The project, through the chair, the project will be completed by January of 2020.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0047.
Moved by legislator Rockow, second by legislator Ansello. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries.
Referral 18-0048.
Moved by legislator Ansello, second by legislator Connolly. Is there any discussion? Legislator Bra.
The Chair to the Administration, what are the lobbying firms responding to this RFQ?
Chairman, we're happy to pull the correct documentation and respond accordingly before the full-edge meeting.
Thank you. Through the Chair, that'd be acceptable. I would very much like to have that information before the full edge. But even without that, through the Chair of the Administration, why was this firm considered to be the most qualified over the other lobbying firms?
Mr. Chairman, based on standard rating criteria on such an RFP, rating criteria including understanding of Monroe County and the project needs, capacity and availability.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I don't think your mic's on.
Mr. Chairman, consistent with rating criteria for such an RFP, such as understanding of the county and the project, their capacity and availability, and their qualifications, Park Strategies received the highest score.
Thank you. You said it was understanding the county, capability, and capacity and capability. And what was the third one, through the Chair?
Mr. Chairman, quickly recap understanding of the county and project, their capacity and availability to perform the services, their prior qualifications and experience, and their cost, and whether or not they have a local office.
Thank you. And through the Chair of the Administration, of those 5 categories, in which of those 5 categories did this particular lobbying firm clearly best the other firms? Through the
Mr.
Chair.
Chairman, this Park Strategies clearly bested other bidders in their capacity and availability and their experience on similar projects.
Thank you very much. Through the Chair of the Administration, and this is a more fundamental question, is why do we need a lobbying firm as opposed to doing it ourselves? Through the Chair.
Through the chair, there's really no direct answer to that. It's more of a philosophical discussion to be had. It's our opinion that the lobbying firms produce results which assist the county in their efforts with various government entities.
Thank you. Through the chair of the administration, I'm assuming then that the county, even though there's no direct answer, has evidence to support the reason that they would think that they get results through the chair.
I'm not certain of what your question is, sir, through the chair.
Through the chair, I'm suggesting that you stated that there is the county's position, philosophical position, that lobbying firms get results. And my question is, do you have evidence that supports that position through the chair?
Oh, I understand your question. Through the chair, we will be able to provide that information for you before the legislative meeting of some results that have been successful with the lobbying firms.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you. And then finally, isn't it true that NISAC advocates on behalf of New York counties and Albany as well? Through the chair?
Through the chair, that is correct.
Thank you. And we expect through the chair that this lobbying firm will do additional work specific to Monroe County, correct? Through the chair?
Through the chair, that is correct.
Okay. I may have questions at full leisure right now. That'll do.
Okay. Is Legislator Cayley?
Thank you. I was going to call you Madam Chair. I'm sorry, it almost came out. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration. Exactly how long has Park Strategies LLC been in business?
Chair, at this point, we don't have that information. We can provide it before the legislative meeting.
Thank you. And then I just lost it. Oh. Thank you. Through the chair, who was the last firm that we used for lobbying? Through the chair.
Through the chair, with the people at the table, the proposal here is that Patricia Lynch was our last lobbyist, but we will check on the accuracy of that.
Thank you. And then if you could also include in there, through the chair, when that association was terminated, I'd appreciate that as well. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Okay. Are there any other matters to come before this committee? Okay. There being no other matters, the January 23rd, 2018 meeting of the Ways and Means Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Ways and Means Committee will be held Tuesday, February 27th, 2018 at 6 p.m.